Hey guys, it's Alexandra doing an Artist React series. On this episode, we are going to be looking at Mac Miller's self-care video. If anyone is my age or maybe older or a little bit younger, like we grew up with Mac Miller, so like my parents were upset when Neil Young died. Like that's kind of how I feel. I guess it's relatable, and I just want to make it apparent that I cared about this rap artist, and honestly it hit me out of nowhere. And normally I didn't care when Michael Jackson died. So let me kind of get into what these videos are about. So yeah, I am an artist. When you think artist, you probably think something like, oh, are you like an Instagram artist? Do you like draw celebrities for likes? No, I'm not like that. I actually went to college and I got my art degree. So fun fact, if you go to college and you become a Bachelor of Fine Arts or a BFA, it's kind of a big deal, you know. If you do have your BFA, art is very pretentious because I went and spent all that money to call myself a BFA, and that's basically all I paid for. Art is conceptual, which brings me to my next point. So I got my BFA and I got it in painting and drawing. This series is my Artist React series. Is basically like, I love music, so when I listen to music I like to, you know, kind of sit down and think like, what was this art director thinking? Why is or like even lyrically, like do the lyrics match up with what they're showing? Is it really a true message? What does this all mean? That's basically what this series is about. So if you're interested in it, keep watching. You'll probably learn something. If you're not interested, you can click off. You can actually unlike it, like I really don't care. Okay, so here we go. Mac Miller's self-care. You're gonna have to give me a second. Alright, so here we see Mac Miller in a box. He's looking around. That would freak me the fuck out. He was probably high when he did this whole shoot though, so he probably didn't give a fuck that he's in the box. Can we take a second to be like, when Mac Miller was alive, I definitely thought he was butt-ass ugly, but now that he's not alive, like, it's just like super nostalgic, and he's actually like really kind of cute. Second of all, what's up with all of these old looking, like old man shoes? Why is that a trend? I mean, I like them, don't get me wrong. Like, I think, like, please keep doing what you're doing, but I'm just confused, like, why did we start doing that? Okay, so if you've done any research on like this song and the cryptic messages and stuff, so he says, I guess one of the lyrics is like September I fall, and a lot of people have taken that to mean that like he knew that his death was coming. I mean, if you think about it, he's literally in a coffin right now, like buried underground, and this was made like I think 2 or 3 weeks before he died. So yeah, that's definitely kind of weird. I mean, I can't really speculate on the paranormal or like the afterlife because I'm just a mortal artist, but so when he says like September I fall, a lot of people think that he knew his death was coming. But if you do more research, 2 years ago in September, a couple things happened in his life that were kind of like, I guess, empowering for him at the time. So this is 2016, in September 2016. First of all, his album dropped, The Divine Feminine, which I think is everyone's favorite album of his. Just kidding. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people like his like new stuff. A lot of people like his really old stuff. My favorite album was The Divine Feminine because that kind of like from an artistic standpoint, like, yeah, you can make like hip hoppy, like upbeat rap as many times as you want. Talk about getting high as many times as you want. That's cool. It's gonna sell, whatever. But once you start getting into like the conceptual sort of like feeling intrinsic kind of standpoint of humanity, just sort of like what human nature is, once an artist starts to do that, they kind of elevate themselves in, I guess, the artistic, like pretentious ass artistic realm. So from an artist standpoint, when he released The Divine Feminine, it was more a nod in the right direction. I felt like he was evolving as a musician and as an artist, because you can't just, I mean, you can make, like, okay, you can make Instagram art, whatever. You can make portraits of celebrities for likes. You can make upbeat hip-hop for likes that has nothing to do with much. But he released Watching Movies, which was super powerful, and then he released The Divine Feminine, which was completely, I mean, he said this in interviews, like, out of his comfort zone. So that happened 2 years ago in September, and The Divine Feminine is speculated to be about Ariana Grande. And, I mean, it's obvious that a lot of it probably was centered around her and his feelings for her. Again, you can watch interviews. I can see how that would have been a big deal for him. And then, in addition to that, September 2016 is when Ariana Grande actually announced that they were dating. So they were like, it was kind of up in the air, like, are they together, are they not together, they did this, they did that, we see them out, they're making out, but is it, what's the deal? She announced that then. So to me, when he says, like September I fall, I think he's talking about when he fell in love, just because these two, like, super, I guess, romantic but also pivotal moments in his career and life happened in September 2016. And now this September, he just released this album. This September's coming up. I don't think he was predicting his death, but in a way, like, if you think about it, he may have been, because no one can predict their actual death, but they can predict, like, a time frame that's emotional for them. And I think that's what he was doing. He was referencing those past 2 years of his feelings back then, but then also, like, getting ready to deal with that season now. Because it's hard. You break up with somebody. Yeah, it's hard. So that's what I got from it, just as an aside. Yeah, this also kind of solidifies the fact, I love you, I don't love nobody else. Yeah, I mean, we can all speculate that that was about his ex. It would only make sense that it would be. And people are like, no, like, he was over her. Yeah, but okay, just think about it. Put yourself in the man's shoes here. We cannot blame her. It's not her fault. Does not mean he wasn't emotionally distraught over the breakup. Like, y'all are fucking tripping if you think he wasn't. Yeah, and I think that's a pretty, like, powerful statement. Self-care, I'm treating me right. He's putting himself first for once in his life. He's, like, crawling. I mean, you'll see. You'll see. Just keep watching. So here you see him, seems like he almost realizes that he's in this box and, like, he wants to get out, which is alluding to the fact, I think, as the art director, verse-wise, waited for the first verse to end, like, before Mac Miller was set up to pull out his knife and kind of get himself out of this box. Does that make sense? Because timing is everything. So you see him carving into this box. He could honestly have probably stopped smoking. He could ash that. So, the right here, this says memento mori. I mean, I don't know the exact translation, but from what I know about, like, I watched the script spelling bee a couple of times in my life. I like spelling, I guess. I don't fucking know, but it says memento mori, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that means remember death, maybe. So that is kind of weird. From an art director standpoint, I don't really know what I mean, I get what they were going for. No, I don't. Let me think about this. I mean, this is really cryptic. Like, you sit here and think, like, this dude is now deceased. He's never coming back. He's, like... So just, like, this video is kind of triggering a little bit. You know, self-care could also relate to self-medication. And now you see he's trying to bust his way out of this box. Again, I think the timing is everything. Okay, so now you see a pile of dirt, which you would think that he was buried under this, like, from first glance. Also, I don't know if y'all watch any, like Black, the 6 Black dude, and Ab-Soul, but they, like, they were all kind of within the same circle, and it's funny because their music videos, you know, I bet it's the same art director, honestly, because their music videos remind me so much of each other's. Just the black and white, like, stark image. High contrast normally, like, signifies that you're about to... So yeah, he's crawled out now, and he's saying he's stuck in oblivion. So, like, yeah, it's really, really kind of weird. He's kind of brushing himself off. I think the art director, like, meant it to be, like, a symbol of, like, regrowth and, like, moving forward, because you're, like, leaving all that in the past. Like, his love life, his drugs. He wanted a new start. And, like, this is pretty symbolic of how he got out just in time. But again, like, he's basically blown into oblivion. And if you notice, artists use this kind of thing a lot. If you notice how he is static or standing still and then everything is, like, moving around him, that's a very strong symbol of just, like he's saying he's in oblivion. It's a very strong symbol of him just being almost self-aware, I guess, because everything around him is moving, but he is staying still. Like, he knows who he is, what he is, and how all these things are reacting around him. So it's just odd, like, how he's found him, or how, like, we are where we are now, because this music video is very, very heavily weighted on him moving forward, conceptually. way he's standing is like triumphant, like he's overcome something. Okay, so what can we take away from this? I mean, basically the reaction is like, I agree with everyone else who's saying how cryptic it is, because, I mean, it's just like there's no way that he would have known that something was about to happen like that. But then if you look at who he was as an artist in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end, it's just so weird because of all the times, I mean, you have to be like a certain level of maturity, you have to be a certain level of like, to have enough life experience to be in the headspace that he was when he made this video. I think he was 26 and he had been through a lot and he had seen a lot of shit, done a lot of shit by this point. He wasn't like the cocky 18-year-old, he wasn't like the like kind of lost 21, 22-year-old, he wasn't like the love-struck 24-year-old. He was just like reaching full maturity. And so when you see a video like this and all the heavy hints and all of the just kind of the very obvious sort of like triumphant attitude he's having, but not in a cocky way, just like I'm picking myself back up, I'm moving forward, I'm getting out of this box, this rut I've been in, I'm going towards something else, towards oblivion. Again, I am like you guys, I'm very sad that he has tragically passed away. The art director behind this is, I don't really think there was like that much thought put into this. I mean, obviously there is thought put into it, it's very intentional. I mean, nobody gets in like a coffin-like structure if there's no severe intention, but it's a very simple kind of, it doesn't look like there's a lot of hidden meaning per se, it's just sort of like what you kind of make of it. It doesn't strike me as a cry for help, it just strikes me more as like he was in a good place, which makes it even more tragic that he passed away so suddenly after this was released. Yep, if you like this video, that's cool. You don't have to subscribe or give a thumbs up. I mean, you can if you want, but I'm not going to tell you to. I appreciate you watching if you liked it. If you didn't like it, well, you wasted your life. Excuse me. So, thanks guys. Bye.